Righto. Friday afternoon. Yes, it's Friday. Why's my screen not? Is that my cat? I don't think so. Yeah, we're going to wait for a few of you to pop in. Hello. And then we'll get chatting. I might have to move actually because I might get a better signal and a better lens over here. So let's move. Let's move. Nice to see you all. To see you nice. Hope you're all good. We really do. So I'm going to wait for a few. Mind me moves. Oh, and it festive, beautiful. Plenty of meat on that turkey for sure. Lovely to see you all, peeps. It really is. Hello from Plymouth, UK. Hello, Plymouth. Claire, it's nice down there, isn't it, Plimpton? Actually, no. I think there is an area called Plimpton, isn't there? I'm not too sure where it is. Had a great show last night on Wake Up UK. We're going to be chatting about this and that today. Whatever it is that you want to discuss, pop up in the comments and we'll have a chat about it. Just so you know, there was a gentleman. He used to work for the BBC. And hello, Eddie Goldtooth. The Golden Toothin has arrived. And nice to see you, gorgeous. Really is. So, yeah, Alex Belfield. No, I don't know how true this is. But he got, last couple of years has been good to him on YouTube. He's done all right. He was having a nice time, apart from having the police round and violating his orifices. How many orifices have we got? 7. And the police, they love an orifice. Let me tell you, they do. They love an orifice. My word. Sir, the sun's not going that side. What are you doing? Get your finger out of my bottom. Oh, no, we're checking for stuff. Yes, you've broken the law. Oh, I say. Anyway, Alex has been sent to prison, apparently, for 5.5 years for stalking. Now, I don't know who he's alleged to have stalked, and I'm just going to generalise before, without getting into the nitty-gritty of this all. And and then another story popped up on my timeline, exactly the same time as I was reading about the Rusty Rocket, the Alex Belfield himself. And he was... there was a policeman that's just had a court case for having over 9,000 images of children in the altogether on his hard laptop, on his hard one, and nothing's happened. He's avoided jail. Can you believe that? Probably be back out on the beating very soon. I can see why they call it the beat now. Where you going, Flatfoot? I'm going out on the beat. You can see why they call it the beat, because they love giving you a beating. Yes, they do. The Queen has been buried, I do believe, and someone who's in London, they've been lining outside Buckingham Palace with Marmite sandwiches, darling. Yes, people have been throwing loads and loads and loads of marmalade sandwiches outside Buckingham Palace, and the people, the councils, Westminster Borough Council, have been saying, please, no more marmalade sandwiches. We don't know what to do with them. And there's people been saying, oh, I can see the Queen in the clouds. Look. And some woman has taken her late mother, who's in an urn, not an urn the milkman, but an urn, an ashes urn, so that she can watch the Queen be laid to rest. Yes, these are the mentalities that we have now. Where are you taking mother? I'm taking her out. I'm taking her to the Royal Park, but she's dead. She's no longer with us. Yes, but I'm going to take her anyway so she can see the Queen off. Oh, yes. Well, they do say the spirit stays with the ashes, darling, don't they? Yeah, but look, Alex Belfield's been given 5.5 years. There is pictures of him having a big hug with Jimmy Savile. Now then. And he does use a few little quips like Jimmy Savile, but does he deserve 5.5 years? For that, I'm not too sure. I just hoped and wished that Alex had swatted up on the law as much as he was ranting his mouth off, I guess, through social media. I can't, guys, I don't know how many of you know me on Facebook, but I can't seem to get on there at the moment on one of my big profiles. It's no big hoo-ha. I'm not that bothered. So I'm quite happy just to let sleeping dogs lie. For the simple fact that for all the years that we've been chatting what they call conspiracy theorists, and let me tell you, I do have a very, very long, like Napoleonic tinfoil hat. It's beautiful. I take it out in the rain and it keeps the rain off this radiant face. It's very, very nice. I do enjoy my tinfoil hat. It's lovely. Sometimes I sit in it and go out on the river, and punt up and down in it. But, I'm at a point now where is it really necessary to be talking about the stuff they talk about? I genuinely believe that so many people are going to be forced this year into paying attention, because we know that the energy companies have gone full on mode. We know that Octopus Energy and Utility Warehouse, now they're a particularly nasty kind of devil, Utility Warehouse, and I would avoid Utility Warehouse like the Black Plague itself. I really would, because they are a plague of locusts when they get going. And you know what always amazes me about all these companies, when you ring up, hello, is that Octopus Energy? They'll all, whenever you ring them, all their salespeople, they're all so darling, aren't they? They're also, oh yes, we can sign you up today, and we can do this and we can do that. And you come off the phone and you feel exalted, don't you? You feel like, oh, I've had a right deal there. But let me tell you, when you get into trouble and you can't fulfill these obligations that these people are trying to impose on you, you just watch the path that they take. It's a path of what they call railroading. They will railroad you to pieces. They will railroad you, and the police will be round your house, and you'll be having to make cupcakes for them. And the bailiffs will be at the door snarling away like a little leprechaun Rottweiler. And you have to think to yourself, how did this ever descend into this? I thought I lived in a Christian country, where we was all equal and we was all supposed to be having a nice time. So many people, guys, let me tell you, so many people through this winter, hopefully will stay abated for a while, but we know that the frosts and the freezing temperatures are going to come. And I just wonder how many people are going to have to perish so that Prince Charles and all that echelons of these people in society and all these big directors of these energy companies on their little islands in Copacabana, smoking their big cigars, actually give two hoots. And I would say that pretty much none of them do give two hoots. Because if you did give two hoots, you wouldn't do the things that you do in the first place, would you? You just really wouldn't. Alex Belfield gave me the chance to speak Wednesday, the 2nd of June, 2021. I was his first caller. 10 minutes to talk about York Council son found hanged Tuesday the 6th of the 6th, 1995. Justice with truth for Alex. Well, there you go, mate. And I hope you got that message out there, Kenneth. I really do. Jesus Jones, Belfield is knackered. Yes, I'm sure he's looking forward to his stay in prison and all that free sex. Yes, earn till the enslaved got to get the paper with the slave master face on it to have shelter, when we all got born near the same talk about hypnosis of the masses. Yes, I mean, I personally, I don't really have a view on the current things that are going on with the Queen Elizabeth passing away. It's a subject I'm not too overly interested in. For this reason, there are a lot of spurious allegations and evidence to suggest that the majority of the royal establishment are not as white as we once thought they were. And as we know with Prince Andrew and all these others, that there's some skullduggery been going on. So I can't truck along with these people. If we had such a wonderful country and the children were all being left alone and none of them were being anally intruded, and people weren't being thrown out of their houses, and we weren't setting light to homeless people, and everyone was having a nice time, and pregnant women were allowed to keep their babies and not being stolen by the state, I would probably shed a little tear and say, you know, what a wonderful woman. Didn't she just do some absolutely fantastic things for the world and this nation? But I know that not to be the case. And in many ways, it's a sad reality to have to wake up to every morning, that know that these things go on. But as we know, most of the people of good old Blighty, we like to hear no evil, speak no evil, and say no evil. We don't want to see it. We don't want to hear it, and we don't certainly want to utter it off of our lips. And that lies the problem, because no one's prepared to do anything about it. You speak to most people that are being bashed up against the wall at the moment with their food bills, their energy bills, their mortgage bills, and their council tax. Oh yes, we must keep the council pensioners on the go. You know, you must maintain their social standing, and you're keeping their big detached properties and their log burners going all winter. Peasants, I do hope you're continuing to pay for these people to drive around in their Mercedes cars. Do you know what, right? This isn't me talking fantasy. Many, many years ago, when the old public servants were working out of tin sheds and porter cabins, that's exactly what they were running out of years ago, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Your local council was running out of porter cabins. Yes, because, and they were very grateful to come round and rod your drains for you and to make sure your street lights was okay, because they knew that their independence and their livelihoods relied on it. But now we see such swanky buildings, don't we? These public servants, these councils, this Maidstone Borough Council's got this big swanky building in Maidstone, and they seem to think that they own it, but they don't, because the people own it. It's all in a trust relationship, isn't it? If you go into a pub with your friend and you need to use the toilet and refresh yourself, you might say to your friend, oh, I'll have a vodka and tonic, and get yourself a drink while you're there. So when you get to the bar, the 2 drinks are there, and he goes, there's your change. And you know that he ain't going to mug you off. And that's the problem, isn't it? You know, these people that sit up upon high now in these councils all drive around in very swanky cars, you know, Mercedes. They got nice big plush houses, and their buildings are very, very extravagant. And what they've actually done is they've got themselves into a position where they've actually got the police. They've actually taken them under their wings. Isn't that lovely? Isn't it lovely that your local council now have the police under their wing, and they're the ones saying to the policeman, well, if you don't go round and arrest little Johnny, you know, because he's been pissing up against the wall, we're going to sack you and not pay your wages this month. So, you know, monkey see, monkey do. And this is what happens, because many, many years ago, you know, the police you couldn't really buy the police off, because they were a separate thing. They weren't in bed with councils, because we had these things called separation of powers, because we knew that if they become amalgamated and glued together, that some nefariousness could happen. And that's exactly where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. Seeking Truths. Hello, Maka. How are you, darling? And there's this story, isn't there? I'm not too sure who this gentleman was, but I seen my mum the other day, because it was my 55th birthday. I know it's hard. It's so hard to believe that this is 55, you know, apart from these. Don't look at these. Stop it. Anyway, and she was telling me about this very handsome young black man that's just been shot to death by the police. And you have to wonder why this has happened, isn't it? You know, why now have the police become judge, jury, and executioner? You know, and I find it very troubling, people. I really do. And I think we should very, very much be very careful. Carrie Ann, because my friend worshipped Tom Hanks. We fell out because I threw a few truth bombs at her, said Alison Golding. Well, Alison, so you're very awake, darling. You're very, very awake. And good for you. Good for you. You know, I would rather see the rabbit in the headlights. I would rather have an inkling of what's going to be going down, and so that I've got a little heads up, so that I can make other ways and move other ways to try and avoid that roadblock. And that's where we're all at. You know, I would rather be armed with the knowledge and the information that I have rather than be not having it. Because when whatever's going to come, and many people are now starting slowly to really see that things are going to be ramping up, you know, if you've got no idea and you can't sustain yourself and life and keep heat going around the house and all that, then we're going to be coming unstuck, aren't we? And I think, you know, my neighbour over the road, she's just had her husband home for a month because he's not very well. He's an old boy, bless him. He's got diabetes and other things. I think he's in his mid to late 80s. And he's had to go back to the home because she can't cope. She's found it all a little bit too much, which is absolutely fine. I can't imagine what it must be like looking after someone 24 hours a day, you know, especially when they don't really know who they are. But in that 1 month, 30 days, 31 days, that's cost her £6,000. 6 grand. Now, for the life of me, I just can't reckon with that. I just think that something's gone so badly wrong. Because that's raping of an estate, isn't it? You know, when the NHS and care was first set up by Nye Bevan many years ago, it had to be free at the point of delivery. And that included everything: your treatments, your bandages, your anal beads for you know, for when you've had troubled times and you need to put a plug in it. It was all free, you know. Your walking sticks, and you know, years ago you always see someone coming home with an hospital bed or a couple of, you know, the walking sticks where your arm went in up here and you held onto it here, and it was like a long nunchucker. Because whenever you went out with it, you always thought, well, if anyone starts, I can give them the old 1-2 with the nunchucks, and they're going to go down. And then they just relied on you taking it back to the hospital at your leisure. And 9 times out of 10, they probably never got that back. It's probably been put up on the wall as in someone's house as an ornament. But that was because that's what the NHS was set up for. But now, if you've got anybody that's elderly, losing their marbles, shitting themselves on a Friday, and you think, well, I'm struggling, I'm going to go and get some help. You've got the as soon as, and here's the thing. Let's say, for instance, you're living in a little council flat somewhere, and I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but this is just the shit system that we live in. Then people are going to come round and treat your loved one and think, well, they've got nothing we can take because they're on the council. But if they come round and you've got a £2 million property and that, then because their eyeballs are flying everything, well, we're going to have some of this. And what they do is they steal it through covetous means. They steal it through bureaucracy. And that's the problem, isn't it? When they should not be doing that in the first place. They really ought not to be. Masons stick together because they know the light is being shown on the evil. Oh, hugely so. Guys, look, there's people out there that, whether they like it or not, they're going to have no choice but to wake up. They're going to have no choice but to open their eyes and look around. Because people's wages, if they're working, they might have gone up a few percent or gone down a few percent. But when you look at food bills and council tax and all the things that you rely on to survive, yeah, all these, because they're not really ramping up loads of other things like cycle, bikes and all that. There's loads of other things out there that haven't really changed much. For an example, LPG fuel, LPG, liquid petroleum gas, has only gone up about 2p a litre. But diesel and petrol that you all rely on to get about because you're all easy targets has gone up exponentially. So you're seeing less and less each month. And there's going to come a point when ordinary people that haven't got a Scooby-Doo, that watch the mainstream and trust the mainstream, working hard, they're going to be sat home thinking, well, I have actually got nothing left. So what happens now? then they're going to be getting all the bailiff letters. And see, I see all the bailiffs, I see all the system as a fascist totalitarianism. That's all I see it as. Because, all men are created equal. No man can own another. We know slavery is a dirty word. We know that. But the way that these companies go on is just outrageous. And I think personally it's got to stop. But there are so many people out there that are going to be so affected soon that they're going to go, right, okay, we've got nothing. We've got all these letters in the doorstep. There's going to be people killing themselves, committing suicide. Not all Masons are bad. Well, yeah, I mean, look, I know about 5 or 6 that all, different walks of life, and they've never done me any harm. And we had a counsellor over at Malden, Chrissy Morris, and his dad, many years ago, before he passed away, was a Mason. And he went to a meeting one day, and when he come home, he grabbed his Masonic briefcase, he threw it in the cupboard, and he never, ever, ever went to another meeting because they must have asked him to do something that didn't sit straight with him. And he never mentioned the Masons again to the day. Well, he just never did, and he never went to another meeting because something there didn't sit straight with him. So, but there are so many people right now, they're having it. There's everyone feeling the pinch, and all that's happening is that these bosses of these energy companies are having it. They're literally having a right royal swindle. It is a laundering operation never seen before in this great country. Never seen before on this level. Not a chance. Now, if you run the national grid, now I've got friends because I am a plumbing and heating gas engineer. And I've got friends that actually work for National Grid, Gas Network Southeastern. And I've been and done work for them, put radiators in and bathrooms in. And some of the videos they've shown me on their phones of actual gas mains that crack and leak and literally dissipate natural gas into the atmosphere at a rate that you couldn't even comprehend. And the noise that comes from these mains when they're blowing off. So a big 3-foot or 4-foot gas main could be blowing completely open-ended because it's got a big crack in it for 3 or 4 weeks before they can put the logistics together to repair it. So make no mistake, this isn't about scarcity, because if gas was that scarce, let me tell you, people would jump on that thing straight away because you'd have no choice to. So never let anyone tell you that oil's scarce or that gas is scarce, because it's not. But if you phone the grid, if you phone the national grid, whatever area that you're in today, and you said, how much of a percentage do you get from the supply from the actual energy companies like Octopus, Bowl, British Gas, Utility Warehouse, and I will say Utility Warehouse are particular demons. They're very demonic. How much do you get as a percentage so that you can run your thing? And they say we get 2%. So if you're paying £100 a month, the grid's getting £2. Now, toppled with all your household waste, all the things that you throw out, your food waste, your cardboard, all of that sort of stuff gets collected by your local council, doesn't it? Well, the majority of that goes off to power plants. So most of the energy of this country, I think it could be 40, 50 or 60% of the energy. I'm not too sure on that, actually. I'm not going to qualify that, but it's quite a significant percentage comes from your waste bins. It goes into these incinerators, it's burnt, and it's converted into electric. So you yourselves, through your households, are paying for the gas networks. And the energy you're providing, you're pretty much in a roundabout way providing your own energy. But the sheer fact that the grid only gets 2% of what the energy company charges tells me that the energy companies are in fact just laundering operations. That's all they are, and it's all to keep the thumb on the back of your head, because when you can't afford nothing, when you've been kicked twice sideways from winter, then you're easily controlled. And you when they tell you what to do, and once it happens once and they tell you where to jump, then you will jump and you will do it. This is all about to demean you. This is all about to debase you and to devalue you. And that's what the system wants. It wants easily controllable people. But there are those of us that are in this realm, that are living today, that are not that easy to control and that are not prepared to put up with all of this nonsense. Fit your own meters. Well, yeah, why not? My mate, Key Police, are you top brass? I know are ones off. I don't know what that means. Yes, I've got keys behind lies, my life. All Masons hide the truth and profit off of others. I can't see any good in that, says Kerry Ann. Learn, taught law, contract law, peace, love, truths. Yes, mate. Yeah, it's nice to see you, peace, love, truths. Love it to see you, pure bloods. Nice to see you, pure bloods. It really is. And the Vatican as well. The Vatican, everybody to secure their assets within the Vatican Bank by 30th of September 2022. Now, I've got no idea what's going to come off the back of that. I really, really don't. But the Vatican has told everybody to get whatever it is they got going on, their assets securely tied up within the Vatican Bank itself. Now, I don't know how true that is or what's going to come off the back of that. But I know that there is, that stuff's coming. And I actually can feel within myself that by probably January to February next year, you're gonna see so many things change. I think we're going to be seeing so many people having no choice but to come together, stand side by side, and doing something positive about this negative situation. I can see that happening. Raping Earth, what have we done when earthquakes start? Maybe people will see. Apparently, Liz Truss. No, I don't follow politics. I think politics is very, very stinky. And there is a YouTube channel called Dirty Politics, Dirty Rotten Politics or Rotten Politics, and it's pretty good. But Liz Truss has now given the go-ahead for shale gas to be fracking to be started again. And I mean, I genuinely believe that these people in government can't be this stupid. I just can't see how they can be this stupid. I genuinely believe that everything that they do, they're fully aware of and that they fully know what the repercussions are going to be. I genuinely do believe that. Now, we're given on many levels the puppetry that goes on, and we're led to believe the way that certain people act within that they're just clowns and that they're idiots. Maybe that's just a dummy that they try to sell us. But I think deep down they know exactly what they're doing. And the point is this: we're not in exacerbated conditions. It's just the system that's creating this environment and reality that's letting you know that that's to be the case. But it doesn't have to be this way. We can change this. We can walk a different path. We can walk a path of just absolute greatness and abundance, but we don't have a government that allows that to happen. And when these people have got control over your children, your homes, every multi-layered, faceted part of your life, sure, you're going to defend it. Sure, you're going to turn around and say, no, you're talking nuts, because you're scared. You're scared that your life will not be sustainable and continue if we as a people and as a country was to walk in a different direction. And that is a foolish mentality. All the time you've got air in your lungs and the spirit to be driven within you, you can achieve and do anything you want. And that's true. You really, really, really can. All areas just agents of public funded companies or private in trust. You're absolutely right. Peace, love, truth. You're absolutely right. Edward Gold Truth, 2026 washing started streaming less than a minute ago. What, my stream? No, we've been going for half hour now. When I say cabbage, Middle East origins, bless you. What we could be doing from a human and animal waste to rather, yes, mate, I agree. Pope to go next year, well, maybe. Ian R. Crane will be spinning his grave. We loved Ian R. Crane. Spoke to Ian a couple of times. And I think that may have been when he was up there fracking on the fracking sites. I never forget seeing that elderly woman being dragged across the road on her arse like by them coppers. I thought that was absolutely dastardly. She had walking sticks and they just grabbed her and assaulted her. And I mean, I don't personally get the mentality of the police. First of all, I can't get my head up my own arse that far. But secondly, when they're all about violence and beating and control, you generally have to question what country you're living in. When they feel they have a right just to shoot dead people without being 100% sure that they're up to criminality, we got a problem. And like I've said many, many times, the family go, where do the friends and the loved ones go to get justice? There's nowhere. There is absolutely nowhere within the public sector, whatever that is, I don't even know what it is, that you can go and get justice. Because justice is all about business. It's just about money. There is nothing other in this country. There's no morality. There's no moral code. There's no moral law. There's no one upholding moral law. It's all business. It's just business. And every day when a judge goes into court, his main objective is money, business, money, business. That's all it is. And you might think, well, that's not right, Dave. But it's true, because every case they sit through, they're actually creating the monetary system through the birth certificate bond. That's exactly what they're doing. So it is all about the cash. Now, we've sat through court cases before and we've give the judges IRS tax forms, so they have to declare everything that they're doing. And they generally put their heads in their hands, because once they've been served with it, a 3949A, they have to file it. And then they have to prove to the IRS, whoever, that what they're doing is legit, because most of them, the judges, the slush funds that go on with the judges is all backdoor. If you go out to the Royal Courts of Justice and look in the centre of that building on the outside where all them cars are, you'll see Bentleys, you'll see Rolls Royces. Why? Because they're swindling. Because it's a mafia and you're part of a mafia. You're run by a mafia. And that's the truth. And they give you the illusion that they care, but they don't. There is not any one of these judges up and down the land that actually cares about any of you. Not one. Now, if the country was run like people like me, they would care for you and they would care for the well-being of your soul and to make sure that you was okay and no harm come to you. I've witnessed it firsthand. Dame Barbara Master Fontaine was scathing at my mate about just over a year ago. And I said to her, excuse me, well, why are you screaming and shouting at that man like that? He's being courteous to you. That's a term of endearment. So I'm Dave Father from Montana. I'm a judge. And I thought, you're just like a serpent. They're like serpents, these people. They really are. Most judges and most people that work in these courts are like slippery serpents. Now, a friend of mine sent me some stuff that he's put together, and I do believe that he's in actual court today, and he's going to be using what he sent me in court today. Now, if he has an absolute result and it really does work, then any of you that want the information, just send me an email. I'll give you my email in this text box, and I'll forward it over to you. Okay, this is an email that I pop into a few times a week and pick up, and it's a Proton mail. Okay, so if any of you want to message me if it goes well today and you want that information, I'll send it over to you. One of Soros pays rolls. Yeah, well, look, all of these people we know with the World Economic Forum and Bill Gates and all that, they say that, you'll own nothing, but you'll be happy. Well, in essence, we don't own nothing anyway, because we're already in that situation, and I see it is just a serfdom. There's no freedom in the system. you have to purchase your freedom. Well, and that goes for every aspect of your life. You have to purchase your home, you purchase your cars, you purchase your driving license, you purchase your passport. Everything you do that you consider freedom is a purchase. Now, many people won't want to hear that. They won't want to. Plato said there is no man more hated in the world than one that speaks the truth, because that's just how it is. But every one of your God-given freedoms right now comes because you purchased it. Now, that ain't freedom. That is a watered down, lukewarm, bottle of piss freedom. True freedom needs no talking about. True freedom and true rights can't really be defined. They're just given. That you have the right to travel, that you have the right to have a home, that you have the right to bring up your kids how you see fit and not how a state party deems it to be the case. And I think that many people now are actually getting the Kenko out the cupboard and seeing that many of us that have been bashing this mantra for years are actually good standing people. We come from common sense, and we're just trying to warn people that things are going to get really tight and sticky. And if people like Belfield can go to prison for 5.5 years for stalking somebody, and a policeman with over 9,000 indecent images on his computer of children, then and he avoids prison, I don't really know what more people like me can actually say and bring to this. And this is why I don't really do much anymore, apart from try and keep myself private and keep learning about the law. But then again, you can know the ins and outs of the law. You could be a master, bachelor's honours degrees. You could be a Harvard graduate, a law professor. You could be the highest font of law. But when you've got 4 or 5 idiots, retards in uniform, waving flash torches through your window and pointing taser sticks and guns and anal beads at you, then you've got 2 choices, because laws disappeared out the window and your knowledge isn't it's just worthless, because force is the overarching element. And once force has been applied, you can forget law, you can forget knowledge, you can forget the peace, you can forget being right and knowing your rights, because they've gone hand to hock, like the Germans did. Papers, please, hand to hock. And I don't want that to be the case for this country. I genuinely don't want. I want your freedoms to be God-given. I really do. Alexander, defender of man. Bless your heart, Paul. I do. I genuinely want your freedoms to be such a given thing that they don't even have to be spoken about. Because before I disappear, all men are created equal and no man can own another. But we have a situation in this country where the police are printing their own warrants and their own paperwork, and they're coming around grabbing you, molesting you up. I mean, some of the things they've done to some of my female friends in the last couple of years will bring water to your eyes. It would make you very upset. They're very graphic things that have happened to them without any doctor there, with just in a locked cell. But when a group of people have got you in a locked cell and you can't get out, and they're violating you on that kind of a level, that's rape. That's rape. And they should be ashamed of themselves. They should be absolutely 100% ashamed of themselves for doing these kind of things to people. Because firstly, they don't have a God-given right to do that. They should, honestly, they should feel such shame for ever bringing any violence to anybody. They have no right to do that. I've seen them put cuffs on people so tight that it's cut people's wrists so badly, and the bruises that I've seen people get from police it's sick. It is absolutely sick beyond belief. But it is what it is. And we, as a people, tolerate that because we don't kick off. We don't rise up. We don't say, no, that's not tolerable. We turn a blind eye. We listen to the stories, but we do nothing. We do zero. And that's the truth. And that's why people despise me. Because Plato said no one hates anyone more than a man that speaks the truth. And I just try and bring truth. That's it. Nothing more. We choosing to spend time with other people's birth certificate bonds, enslaving each other on ego rather than creating ourselves our own worth. Amen. Anyway, peeps, have a gorgeous weekend. All right. Hopefully the sun might bless you in whatever part of the country or wherever part of the world you're in. I've put a little poll up with this video as well, and your comments will be gratefully received. And I'll end that poll in about a week's time. And just have great weekends. Keep it funky, keep it fresh, keep learning, keep making a difference, keep yourself to yourself. Whatever it is that you can do, guys, whatever it is that you can do to starve this beast, to stop in your pockets and you giving them a firm no, you've got no idea how important that is right now. How important that is, right? Shane Belfield never spoke the truth. No, he wasn't overly interested in truth, was he? Whenever he got anyone on that actually wanted to speak truth with him, he kind of shut them down. Well, maybe he's got 5.5 years now to think about that, because I'm pretty sure had these allegations and claims been made against him come to light, if he was armed with knowledge and wisdom, then he probably wouldn't be in prison right now, because it's only the straw man that they can put to prison. So if you answer to letters of Mr. Alex Belfield, well, there's a good chance you're going to prison, because you're supposed to know thyself. There's two of you. There's a straw man and there's the real you. And the real you can step away from that straw man whenever you want, people. There's no place like home. You've just got to click your heels 3 times. I'll see you all soon, peeps. Have beautiful weekends. Love to every single one of you. You're all beautiful, beautiful people. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Ta-da.